What's up, everyone? This is Q from Retro Q Gaming, and I just ran across an interesting article that it basically covers 2 points. But I'm gonna read out some. I'm gonna talk about the article, read out some key points from the article, as well as have a link to it below, and then give my thoughts and opinions on it. So, the founder of the company Filmic Worlds, who is also an ex-Naughty Dog developer, his name is John Habel. It's either Habel or Habel. It's spelled like table with a H, so I'm going to assume it's John Habel. He basically has to say, or he explains why the PS4 and Xbox One will never achieve CGI level visuals, and that 4K will take over two generations from now. So that would be PS6 and whatever the Xbox 3 would be. But there's a couple of reasons for that anyway, and here's what he had to say on the matter anyway. So honestly, it's hard to say. I think it will be a very long time. The current crop of consoles is so much better than the previous generation, but the trailers are getting better too. If you really want to hit that level of quality, you need a staggering amount of triangle counts with really long shaders. Photoreal global illumination is very easy offline, but very difficult in real time. So, once he was asked, or once he gave that, people asked him, or well, not rather than people, but the people over at Gamingbolt asked him how long it would take to hit such a high level of graphic fidelity, and according to Habel, it will take the next 2 console cycles before what we consider current CG level visuals at 4K would be made possible. So here's exactly what he had to say. I don't have a good answer for you, but my guess would be longer than you think. One more console generation seems too quick, maybe in 2 more generations. That would be the PS6 and the 5th gen Xbox. And if we need to render in 4K, then add another generation, which puts us at the PS7 and the 6th gen Xbox. It will be a while. So, okay, where to start on this? The whole thing of the CGI visuals, I pretty much agree with, because there's a big difference between rendering it and then recording it and then showing it back like you'd see in a cinema or a movie trailer or a game trailer or anything like that. But rendering it in real time is a whole different ball game. Now I don't know much about the whole process of it, but I do know from my foray into PC gaming that it's just to get what we have as current CGI level visuals as a playable thing, it's just not going to happen. I mean, even with, say, Square Enix's DirectX 12 tech demo, that's a tech demo. Now, that was running 4 Titan X's. That's 48 gig of video RAM. That's approximately almost 5 grand worth of graphics cards just to get that. Now, I realize that tech demo, because of DirectX 12 as a showcase, it was actually real time. So, that's nearly 5 grand's worth of graphics cards to get that level of visual fidelity these days. Obviously, things are going to improve over the next few years, but it's still a long way off, and especially that by the time we do get to that, what's going to be available as far as CG rendered stuff goes, like game trailers or CG films. So who knows what that's going to be like. And not to mention, consoles are usually geared towards the entry level price points to get into this kind of thing. No one's going to want to buy a 4.5 grand console to get those kind of visuals, so it's just not feasible. I mean, when you look at the Xbox One and the PS4, they're using mid to low end laptop hardware inside the Xbox One and PS4, and we're seeing that because they needed to do that to get the cost down. I mean, they could have went to Nvidia instead of AMD and said, hey, look, give us a GTX at the time, a GTX Titan. Let's put that in. A GTX Titan at the time when it was relevant was €1,000, maybe like 1,200. So it's just not feasible. And that was back then. So obviously, things are usually only going to go up. But I think that's crazy. That I don't think we're going to get any of that kind of stuff anytime soon. So that does not surprise me. Now, what is important, in my opinion, on this next one, because yes, real quick, I'll touch one more thing on the last one. Graphics are nice. Graphics can help sell a game. I say sell a game. I don't mean sell a game in promotional material. They can help reinforce the world you're in the game when you're playing it. It can make it more immersive and give you a better experience. That's what I mean, as in sell the game. But this other one is that's the end of my first one. And I'll address the other point he had. He thinks that it will take 2 generations of console from where we are now. So we're on PS4 and Xbox One. So we'll have PS6 and Xbox 3. And he thinks that it will be in around then before we get those kind of visuals, those style of visuals, at what I'll assume is 1080p, because he does go on to mention 4K would take even longer, which would be the PS7 and Xbox 4. But I mean, it really, really drives home that consoles and PCs are very different things. Now, I have the consoles sitting to my left. I also have my PC sitting here as well beside me, and they're entirely different things. I mean, as it goes right now, okay, we've been using 1080p for about 10 years. PC people have been using 1080p for about 10 years or so. The Xbox 360 and PS3, I won't really say they've been using 1080p this whole time, because there are very few native 1080p games on either console. They're mostly just upscaled or just use some sort of non-scaling at all. So that's on that side of it, at least, anyway. And then when you look at the Xbox One and PS4, these consoles came out in 2013, and they're already struggling at 1080p. They're already struggling at a decade-old resolution. And because consoles need to be affordable, when you take that into consideration, I mean, it would not surprise me if it did take that long. But from a technological and cost standpoint, it would not surprise me. But my God, I pity everyone if using 1080p is acceptable for you anymore. I mean, I game on a 1440p monitor, and some people would say, oh, that's not that big of a difference. That's the same difference, at least in vertical resolution anyway. That's the same difference, because I'll go into exactly why I use the vertical one. But that's the same difference between 720p and 1080p. And I'm also getting a really high refresh rate. I'm getting 60 plus frames per second on almost every game I have maxed out, which are usually higher than the current gen consoles. Now, I'm not here to bash the consoles. That's not what I'm doing in this video. I'm not bashing the consoles. I'm not saying glorious PC Gamer Master Race, but I'm just saying 1080p is a decade-old resolution, and a console cycle, the previous console cycle, the Xbox 360 and the PS3 for the 7th gen, that went on way too long. I really hope the PS4, the Xbox One, for the 8th generation consoles, I really hope they last maybe 5 years at most. The next generation after that, again, I really hope that goes even that way. 5 years max, maybe. Now, I'm getting a bit worked up. Hang on, give me 1 second. Okay. So, when you take into consideration, he said it would take another 2 cycles. Let's assume, alright, it's 2015 now, so let's assume that this current generation, let's assume every console generation now is going to last 5 years. So, these consoles came out in 2013. They're going to basically be replaced in 2018. And then those consoles are going to be replaced in 2023. So, in 2023, they're going to be able, according to him, they're going to be able to render a resolution we have now. We've had for about 2 years now. Sure, it was an infancy technology, blah, blah, blah. But 4K kind of became more popular and a bit more mainstream and accessible and affordable in around 2013. So I'm going from then. I'm not going from 2008 when they were first showing off their 4K TVs. So I'm going from 2013 when it started to become big and what it is now. So in 2023, he's talking about using a resolution that will have been around mainstream-ish for 10 years. That's madness. Imagine what that's going to be like. Imagine what PC games. Again, I'm not here to bash. I'm just saying, imagine, okay, let's not even go into PC games. Imagine what the visual technology will be in 10 years. In 2023. Oh, well, not, yeah, okay, it's 8 years from now, but in 2023, imagine what the visual technology will be. And he says, he said that's only for the graphics. And imagine if he wants to do it in 4K, that's another 5 years on top of it. That's 2028 to render games at 4K. Could you imagine what will be available in display technology, like TV and monitor resolution? Hell, even phone resolution will be 4K by then. But my point is, TVs and monitors and any type of display, and what I hate to bring it up, but the kinds of things that PCs will be doing by then. I really, really hope, for everyone else's sake. I mean, when I see other people play PC games now, I mean, one of my friends plays it on a 900p laptop, one of my other friends plays it on a 1080p monitor. I find it really hard to see that. I mean, I look at that and I think, whoa, that's, that I haven't even had this 1440p monitor a year, and I look at the stuff I can't really go back to. With the consoles, it's a little bit different because it's a choice between either playing games that are 1080p or below, or not playing them at all, because I just use my consoles for exclusives. So, I mean, if that's a whole different thing. But the fact is that it works like that, and I really hope, not just for the fanboys and all that kind of thing, but I really just do hope we need to see an increase. I don't think games will be marketing to render at 1440p simply because there's no 1440p TVs. Consoles are aimed at TVs. They're aimed to be in your sitting room. You're not going to sit down in your sitting room or your living room, whatever you call it in your country. You're not going to sit down in front of a 27-inch 1440p monitor and plug a console into it and sit back, play from the couch. That's just not what the consoles are aimed for. So maybe they'll market them as 4K ready, but will, like the current generation, they'll render at lower resolutions. Who knows? So maybe in that case they will render 1440p, but be designed to be connected to a 4K TV, because 3 to 5 years from now, when the next generation of consoles starts, I mean, if they're not 4K ready, there's going to be backlash all over the place. Could you imagine? Like, I mean, it's the same thing with people not wanting to buy anything that doesn't say HD on it. I mean, look at the Vita. They specifically came out and made up this QHD resolution simply because they could call it quarter full HD, just so they could put a HD on the box. Now, yes, it'll say that Q. 99% of people won't know. 99% of people will just see the HD and think, oh yeah, that's it, even though it falls below the official minimum HD standard. 99% of Vita fanboys I see on the internet don't even know that. They will insist to the grave that it's HD. So I'm going to start wrapping this video up now anyway, because it's getting a bit long. So essentially, video quality, graphics quality, it would not surprise me if it did take 2 or 3 more console generations to get to that level of quality. Again, this is not PC bashing the consoles. I'm just saying, because he did specifically say consoles. Resolution wise, I really hope the consoles in general get an improvement in the next cycle. We're struggling for 1080p at the moment. We're struggling for 60 FPS. Sometimes we're even struggling for 1080p 30 FPS. It's mind-boggling, and I think it really hurts everything in the long run. So let me know all your comments about everything in the comment section below, because it's run on a bit too long. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You can follow me on Twitter, because I got a little series starting on there within the next few weeks. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.